friends, welcome back to my channel, Patronosaurus Reads. I'm Katie, aka Patronosaurus, and I read. And today, I'm not alone. Who are you? Tell the friends.
My name is Rayanne. I am over at Reading Rayanne on BookTube, and, I've been Katie's friend for a hot minute now.
Oh, geez. 5 years.
5 years.
5 years.
She's put up with me for a long time.
So, today we have an original book tag for The Adventure Zone, which is the best podcast ever. You guys have probably seen me talk about the graphic novels a couple times because I have read them. And this podcast, a very quick summary, is about this family, 3 brothers and their dad who play Dungeons & Dragons together. Yes, it is very nerdy. Yes, we revel in the nerdiness. Mm-hmm. We love it. And it truly is a masterful narrative. So if you haven't listened to The Adventure Zone and you're interested in it, please go listen to it. It's on Spotify and iTunes and all the podcast places. So listen to it. And Rayanne just finished listening to it for the first time, which was, I'm so glad she did, because I've been telling her to listen to it for probably 2 or 3 years at this point.
Sobbed hysterically. And
we knew I was going to come here to visit her. We're watching the Rooster Teeth Extra Life stream. It is on in the background behind the camera right now. And we decided, you know what, let's film a tag for the Adventure Zone. So this is our original book tag. What we're going to do is we have 20 prompts, and we are going to roll d20s to determine which question we're going to answer. So 10 of those are going to be here on my channel, and then the other 10 are going to be in Rayanne's video. So let's go ahead and get started.
Woo. Okay. Let's do this.
Yes, let's. Okay. So, just go ahead and roll these d20s. This is a dice tower that was actually 3D printed for me from the teachers that I worked with last year, and then each of us has a d20, so mine is purple.
Mine's green, because that's my favorite color.
And purple's mine. So let's just go. I'll go first, I guess. Oh, I can't see it. 14. Okay, prompt number 14 is The Bureau of Balance, a badass ensemble cast.
Okay.
I prepped my answers ahead of time.
I did not.
So I'm ready. For me, that's definitely the cast from Strange to the Dreamer. There are 2 definite main characters, and that's who we get their perspectives from, but the entire cast of characters in the Strange to the Dreamer duology is absolutely fantastic. So I really love reading about them, and I wish it was more than a duology because it's really good.
So right off the top of my head, a couple of answers jump out at me, and I'm doing my best to not answer Harry Potter for every question. Mm-hmm. So I'm not going to answer Harry Potter. What I'm going to go with instead are the cast of characters from Deborah Harkness' what's it called? Discovery of Witches trilogy. I really like this because not only do we see a lot of really BA female characters, but we see a lot of the male characters who are actually, not awful. They're doing impressive things, they're helping out, and there's just so many different aspects that all the characters have their strengths in. It's not just, the stereotypical, I'm the fighter, I'm the brains of the operation. It's not defined by, the stereotypical, gender roles of it. There are girls who, could, rip your throat out. There are geeky boys, and I just really love the way that they all interact with each other and the things that they do. On the table, and I got a 9.
9. Number 9 is Lucas,
a
villain you love to hate.
A villain I love to hate. The first one that pops in my head, honestly, would be Capricorn from In Court by Cornelia Funk. And the reason why is Capricorn is the stereotypical book villain. Because if you're unfamiliar with the way In Court is the story of it, basically the main characters are able to read a storybook aloud, and something from the storybook comes out into our world, but something from our world has to go in. And Capricorn is pulled out of the book that they're reading from and brought into our reality. And he's so weird and flamboyant, and he's terrifying, and he's still an awful person, but he is that stereotypical storybook villain. But he's just, there's just something about him that's oh gosh.
Mine is hot topic on the bookish internet right now. It's the Darkling from the Grisha trilogy by Leigh Bardugo. He's such a perfectly written villain. I hate him, but I love to read about him.
Mm.
And I'm really excited to see what's going to happen in the TV show and how they're going to portray him, because I think it's going to be really good. 5. The director. A badass leader. I forgot who I chose, and then I remembered. I have chosen Prince Rai from the Shades of Magic series. Haven't talked about it on my channel because I read it all last year, but I have read it, and Prince Rai grows so much over the course of those 3 books, and goes from kind of being a playboy into being a really strong and capable leader, and I think that's not only just great to see him being a leader, but also that growth is really awesome to see.
I'm trying to think of the books that I've read recently, which are none. Because I really don't want to say a Sarah J. Maas book. Stick with me. Magnus Bane from Cassandra Clare's Mortal Instruments series. He doesn't, you don't immediately assume that he's a leader, but then as the series progresses and he interacts more with the different characters, particularly the, oh god, what are they called? Shadowhunters. He starts taking a little bit more control. He is the High Warlock of Brooklyn, so he's got a lot of stuff going on, and also he's just an incredibly interesting character. I mean, I'm partial to him for different reasons, but I think he is incredibly protective of the people that he is supposed to be in charge of and the people that he is friends with. And additionally, he's just an over-the-top, super, super powerful person. And I adore him, and he should have more power than what he's given. But I'm picking Magnus Bane. That's a 7.
Davenport, a book that is repetitive.
Oof. Okay, I haven't read this book yet, but this is what popped in my head. The first 7 or 8 lives of Henry August. Because the way I haven't read the book, so I feel like it's kind of a cheat answer. But the way that the book is set up is Henry August lives his life over and over and over again, and it's always the very same. But then after the I think it's like life 7 or 8. I think it's the first 15 lives of Henry August is the title. Something changes, and now he's reliving his life over and over again, trying to save the world or the universe or whatever. But I feel like it might get repetitive. Reading the same thing over and over.
So mine is Maybe in Another Life by Taylor Jenkins Reid. Her 3rd or 4th book, I want to say. And that one follows the main character who is kind of going through a rough patch in her life, and she ends up moving back to her hometown, which I think is LA or a suburb of Los Angeles. And she makes a choice the first night she's back in town. Either go out with her friends or go home. And then each chapter alternates what would have happened in her life, depending on which thing she chooses. And it's repetitive in some ways because there are some threads that are constant in the story regardless of which path she's on. So that's why I chose that for this, because I try not to read books that are repetitive because I don't tend to like that. But that's the closest one I've got. Which one is that? That is
a 10?
No, it's a 9, which we already did.
Oh. Roll again.
Roll again. Yeah, that's just what we're going to do. 14, which we also did already?
I think it was the first one you had.
It sure was.
Yep.
Is this a weighted die?
Is that regulation?
It's Travis McElroy regulation. Number 4, Angus MacDonald.
Oh, Angus! Ango!
The prompt for Angus MacDonald is the perfect mystery novel. So I've been reading a lot of mysteries lately, and I think my favorite one that I've read is Lock Every Door by Riley Sager. I gave that book 5 stars. I thought it was great. It's about this woman in New York City who's down on her luck, so she takes up this opportunity to be essentially a house sitter in this really fancy apartment building. For some reason, they don't like to leave apartments empty when they're in between tenants, so they have people come in and apartment sit for them, but they have a lot of really strict rules, like you can't have any visitors, you're not allowed to spend any nights away, blah, blah, blah. So everything is not as it appears, and things go from there, and I don't want to give too much of the mystery away, but it blew my mind. It was so good.
I don't really read many mystery novels. It's just not a genre that particularly appeals to me right now. I'm not going to say, I'm never going to read a mystery novel. My mom absolutely adores them. So I'm just going to answer with the only mystery novel that I think I've read, or at least the only one that comes up in recent memory, which is We Were Liars by E. Lockhart, which is okay. I didn't inherently when I first read it, I liked it, and then upon reflection, I was like, you know, ups and downs. I genuinely don't remember what it's. I mean, I remember what it's about, but I remember there was like this big thing around YouTube with like, just don't talk about it, or you're gonna spoil it. And so, yeah, it was okay, but I don't know.
Okay is a generous term. I did not like that book.
10. I'm so excited about this one.
Number 10 is Kravitz, Your Favorite Enemies to Lovers.
Okay, I have to answer with the Sarah J. Maas one. I'm sorry.
That's fine.
I gotta go with Rhys and Feyre from the Court of Thorns and Roses trilogy because just like...
Yeah.
I don't know if you've noticed. I'm a white female. Hi, how you doing? I am trash.
Are you Sarah J. Trash?
I wouldn't go that far.
Okay.
Because, she's just... The endings of her book series are not as good as the books that come before them. And it's a major letdown. I've got issues. But I absolutely really like the way that Feyre and Rhys's relationship developed over the course of the trilogy. I thought it was really, really great. And I just like the way that they interact with each other. There are plenty of things wrong with Sarah J. Maas's books, which this is not the video for, but, you know, I really liked the two of them.
So my answer for this is the BookTube classic, The Hating Game. Lucy and Josh, I love them. They're also, like, not enemies, they're more like rivals, because apparently enemies is if people are on opposite sides and then they get together, and Josh and Lucy are on the same side, they're just competing against each other, but they're, like, working for the same company. That book is so good. I've already read it twice this year, and I will probably read it one more time, at least. I'm obsessed with it. Am I Chelsea from Chelsea Dolling Reads? Because this is, like, her book. This is her favorite book of all time. She reads it, like, 5 times a year. I'm turning into Chelsea, and that's fine, because she has good taste in books, so,
you know,
I gotta go with them.
Would Henry and Alex from Red, White, and Royal Blue count for this?
Yeah.
They're more like, okay, I amend my answer if they count to them. I'm still a white woman, and Sarah J. Maas is still unfortunately a thing that I like. I wish I could change it too. I'm not proud of myself either, fam. But I'm going to change my answer to Henry and Alex.
Okay, Henry and Alex.
Alright, your turn.
Number 1.
Ooh, critical failure.
Oh. But this character's not a crit fail.
Hey!
So the prompt for this one is Magnus, a character who puts the well-being of others ahead of themselves.
Love me some good Magnus Burnsides. Oh.
Yeah, I can never fully decide who my favorite is, but it's Magnus.
See,
I
gotta go with Taako.
But also Merle.
Anyway, sorry.
So I've mentioned this character before. That's Zora from Now Entering Adamsville, which I read last month, so I talked about it more in detail in my wrap-up. But basically, in her town, people kind of treat her like garbage, and she has made it her mission to, like, fight demons and stuff and protect them anyway, even though a lot of people, if they were in her position, would be like, okay, well, screw all of you, and let the bad things wreak havoc, and she doesn't do that because she harbors such love for her hometown, and I love that about her.
I read about some selfish people, dear Lord. It was a person from Percy Jackson.
Was it, Tyson?
No.
Grover?
Not really Grover, either.
Am I?
You know who I'm gonna stick with Percy Jackson, but I'm actually gonna say the title character Percy Jackson.
Yeah.
In particular, the reason what's forming this would be, at the very end of Mark of Athena, which is in the Blood of Olympus series, he does something that is very stupid in terms of, like, a self-interest move, but it is very selfless, and it totally bites him, and he deals with the consequences of that in the entirety of the next book. You know, but I feel like Percy's one of those characters who, I feel like there's most of the time, it's like with those, like, the fate of the world depends upon you, like, they're usually a generalized, selfless individual, but I'm gonna go with Percy, because I like Percy, he's a good kid. 15.
15. So the prompt for this one is Fandolin, a book that haunts you.
Ooh. Do we mean haunt in like a good or a bad term?
I was thinking like a book that just has stuck with you for a long time, regardless of why. So it could be good or bad.
Okay. There are a lot of good books I could choose for this answer. Harry Potter is an obvious one because it had such a profound impact on me as a person. And I don't mean that in like the typical like, hi, I'm a person on the internet. It's like, wow, Harry Potter is just like my thing. I mean in terms of like the empathy that it helped me develop with other people and the way that I interact with society as a whole and the things that I value and find important. And so I'm gonna go with Harry Potter because it did teach me in many ways to be a better person. Just, ignore whatever the heck J.K. Rowling's spewing on Twitter these days.
Death of the author, friends.
Yep.
For me, that answer is No Exit by Taylor Adams, which is one of the first books that I read this year. And honestly, most of the time, unless a book is a new all-time favorite forever and always, like, it's kind of in one year out the other and I forget about it. But No Exit has stuck with me since January, and for me, that's a lot. So this is a thriller about a girl who stops at a rest stop, and she gets snowed in. It's like the middle of a snowstorm, so it's her and the other people that are there, and when she's out in the parking lot trying to get on the phone to call her family, she sees a little girl in the back of one of the other cars, and she realizes that someone else at this rest stop is a kidnapper. So it's very action-packed.
Oh dear.
It's so good. It's a little gory, so if you're not into that, then don't read it. But I thought it was really excellent, and it has stuck with me for such a long time.
It's an 11!
An 11! Okay.
I don't think we've done that one yet.
We have not.
Oh.
So, this one is The Raven and the Ram, the first book that made you cry.
I hate my answer for this one.
Yeah.
I genuinely hate it.
Mine is, at least the one that I can remember, like, I'm sure other books made me cry before this, but I remember this being the first time that I read a book, and I was like, couldn't breathe crying, which was My Sister's Keeper. Most people are familiar with the concept. It's about a family whose eldest daughter is very, very sick, I think with cancer, and so they have another child to, like, they use medicine and stuff to make sure that she is genetically compatible with the oldest daughter so that there will always be someone to, like, donate kidneys and stuff, which is ethically questionable.
Oh, yeah, definitely.
So then the youngest daughter is unhappy about these circumstances, and she goes to a lawyer to try to get herself medically emancipated so that she is not held by her parents' will to donate blood and stuff to her sister.
Yeah.
And I remember the ending of that book.
Oh, yeah. Wow, that'd be how old were you when you read it?
6th grade.
Oh, that'd be
So I was
traumatic.
12. I was 12 years old.
Oof. That's a...
Yeah, that's one. That is one.
So I can't remember which one I read first, but I remember both of these books made me sob, and as fate would have it, I was reading both of these books in the living room of my house when my parents were near me. So they were like, what is happening? And I was like sobbing, like beating the book, because I was dramatic. I still am.
Yes.
The first one is Betrayed by PC and Christian Cat, which I hate. I hate it so much. I hate that's the answer.
I can't help but laugh at that. I'm so sorry.
No, laugh at it. It's ridiculous. I hate it. It's like the best friend dies, and I'm sobbing hysterically because I'm like 12.
I remember that.
I'm so upset. And looking back, I'm like, that's what made you... Okay, it was stupid. It's a stupid book series, and I hate it. The other one, because again, these were right around the same time, so I don't really remember. It was one of the Cirque de Freak books. I don't remember what the name was. It was one of the later ones when...
I remember that too.
Oh,
I know.
When Crepsley died.
Yeah.
Spoilers, don't care. It's been out for like 10 years.
No one cares about these books anymore.
Yeah, I sobbed because he was my favorite character. And like the way that he died, like he thinks he's sacrificing himself to kill the ultimate villain, but then it's like not, so you find out he died for nothing? Oh, I was not okay, fam. No. Sorry.
You good now?
No.
Roll.
19!
19. Okay, so we also created props for all 4 of the hosts of the Adventure Zone. So this one is Justin, who is the eldest brother.
Justin!
An author who sucks you into their story without you even realizing it.
Ooh. I'm gonna go with Casey McQuiston, who wrote Red, White, and Royal Blue. I wonder if, like, I think it's definitely a testament to her writing, the way that she wrote it was absolutely gorgeous, but then also how much I wanted her reality to be our reality. For those of you who don't know, Red, White, and Royal Blue takes place in an alternate timeline in which a woman, not necessarily Hillary Clinton, but a woman won the 2016 presidential election, and her son, Alex, is got this like really intense rivalry with the Prince of England, Henry, and turns out that rivalry, it's not rivalry, it's gay. And it's such a good book. And it's so nice. I like it.
I've talked about it so much.
Oh my
They
god.
know. Also going to go for a contemporary romance author, which is Christina Lauren. That's a best friend duo of authors. So one is named Christina, one is named Lauren.
Oh, that's cute. I didn't know that.
Yeah.
Oh, that's adorable.
Yeah, it's so cute. Their books are so easy to read. Like, I mean, I can pop those books like M&Ms, just like read them so fast. I think most of their books I have read within like 1 or 2 days. It's just so easy to slip into these nice, easy worlds and read these cute, fluffy romances and have a nice time. Alright, that was it. That was the Adventure Zone book tag. Like I said, please listen to the Adventure Zone if you are interested, because it's so good. And let me know what you think about it. Even if you've only listened to the first episode and you think it's like really weird, because the first episode is weird and a little messy, but it gets so good. So leave a comment, like and subscribe. That's what YouTubers say. I'll see you guys next time. Bye.
Bye.